Hello, and thank you for joining us. In this presentation, we're going to be talking about MSI's Panorama. It's all about clause management inside of Box. Now, you're probably wondering if you should be watching this video. Well, here's a couple of questions to help you get to that answer. Do you need or have a clause library? Is populating this clause library cumbersome? Would an automated clause library make you more productive? Well, if you answered yes to any of these questions, it probably makes sense to watch this video. So let's get started. Here we are in Panorama, and of course, our objective is to create a reusable clause from an existing contract. So the first step is to grab a contract. So I've got a search type here called clause creator, and of course, this is searching against a particular metadata template in Box, hence the metadata you see available to you. Yours could be larger or a smaller list, but I want to go grab something from a non-disclosure agreement, so I'll hit search. Here's my list of non-disclosure agreements, and I can narrow the search as well. You know what? I want the ones that have a status of effective, so I'll hit effective, search. That's a list I can work with. Now, the one I want is the one from MSI Technology one. That was a pretty good document. I want to reuse a clause from there. So I click Clause Management. Up pops the document, and again, it can be of any format. It could be PDF, it could be Word, what have you. But here's my piece right here that I'm going to work from, my contract. All right. On the right, you'll see some metadata. The thing I need to do first, of course, is name this. So I'll call this AJS disclosure. And that's the name of my particular clause, so I can find it later. There's other metadata available as well. Clause type, creator. You have a topic, and we'll go through this in a minute. All right. And based on your solution, you may have additional metadata you want to use to define your clause. Now, the clause I want to reuse is right here. So I'm just going to highlight it right here. And I'll hit copy text. And again, I called it AJS disclosure. And it is a confidentiality is the clause type. I'm the one that did it. And it's around services. And again, this metadata is based on your needs. This is sort of your starter metadata. Now, I'm all done. So I just hit save new clause. And what I've done is essentially taken that particular clause and stored it as an object to be reused. Now, let's go off and reuse that clause. So to reuse the clause, I go up here and my search type is clause library because the clause that was just created is now in this library. So I've got the same metadata you saw. I'm going to search for the confidentiality one I just did. I'll hit search. And here's all the ones that are labeled as confidentiality reuse. And I've got the various names and so forth that I worked with. Here's the AJS disclosure one right here. So if I want, I can just click here. It'll show me the clause. Yep, that's it. All I do is hit copy and close. And now I go to the document where I want to insert that exciting clause. And here that document is. And I'll highlight this piece right here because that's where I want to insert. And I will simply hit Control V. And now my clause is inserted. And just like that, I have reused a clause from inside my clause library. So what did you learn? Well, you learned creating a clause library in Box is easy. Reusing clauses from the library is also easy. So what are your next steps? Well, it's time to reach out to MicroStrategies so we can help you like we help our other clients.